my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's insane. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
All right, everybody. Hiya. Hey. It's Wednesday. It's Jesse Blaze Snyder, the coolest geek alive. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Really good, actually. Today, my babies, my youngest kids, Parker and Grayson, come to spend the rest of their summer with me out in California with my girl, and I'm just so excited. I picked them up from the airport in like 3.5 hours or something like that. And, yeah, I'm just like, I'm over the moon, man. Oh, it's going to make me cry. Oh, no, I got to cry. I haven't seen them in like a month, and I can't wait. And it's my daughter's birthday a couple days ago, and I got her presents, and she's got a slip and slide wrapped up in a Captain America wrapping paper, and she's got bath bombs wrapped up in some Iron Man wrapping paper and some water balloons. And I got to go get her some decorations and decorate a little bit before I go and get them from the airport. But anyway, it's cool. It's a good day. Life is good. Today's like a little bit of like a weird show. Just because there was like a bunch of things that I wanted to talk about, but nothing that would really like cover 45 minutes to an hour, like, you know, I like to generally do on Wednesdays. But I thought like all of these things were kind of important and worth talking about. So, yeah, I'm just going to kind of chat about all of them, which is behind the scenes, Bo DeMeo talking about the creative writer's room going on at Marvel right now. And I mean, I know what all this shit is like. But just a bunch of direct quotes from him. I got a whole bunch of them written down that I'll share. And I want to check in again with the box office for Fantastic Four, which continues to be fucking weird. And then in general, I want today to just be a Gina Carano celebration. And let me just tell you, if you have any sort of mixed feelings about Gina Carano having Disney settle and like, you know, the positive things that you might have heard coming out of that situation, don't. You're out of your mind. You've been misled. She didn't do anything wrong. She's not a bad person. She's a very nice person. She's not particularly conservative. From at least not outwardly. The post, just to go back in time and tell you what she got kicked off the internet for. She didn't get kicked off the internet, but what she got canceled for by Disney. This is very funny, actually, to me, because I told you I've left social media. I've come back. Like Twitter, I used to have like 10,000. I don't know. I had a decent amount, like in the what is there, five figures at least on Facebook, and maybe like more than that. And I abandoned my Twitter account, and part of it was influenced by what happened to Gina Carano, because shortly before Gina Carano was canceled, I had written a post that was almost identical to the post that Gina wrote that allegedly got her canceled. And I'm telling you, what she wrote and what I wrote was not controversial. It's what you call a good point. I made a good point. And Gina Carano made the exact same point like 2 weeks later and was literally canceled for the whole thing, you know, by Disney. And I literally said to myself at the time, I said, holy shit, if a good point, if a reasonable, sweet, nuanced point like what Gina said, and I'll tell you what she said in a second, are going to get you kicked off the internet right now, I'm like, I'm still not like, you know, not everybody knows who I am to take my opinion or whatever else, even though I have a lot of experience and my opinion is a good opinion to take. You know, it tends to be about just, well, how far is your reach and how well do people know you? And I just went, wait a second, if this opinion that I'm holding as not being Gina Carano got her fired from Hollywood, like, if I continue to try to have difficult conversations with people about what is going on right now in society, I'm not going to climb to the secure position that I'd rather be in, where things are easier for me to make my art, I might just inadvertently fuck up the foundations of my rise as a creative person, and shoot myself in the foot just simply for participating in social media. And that was when I bailed out, because what I said and what Gina said was the same thing. To this day, there are certain Democrats who have been speaking out of the sides of their mouths, talking about how we should limit the rights of Republicans, of Trump supporters, of MAGAs, all these things. They've been getting all this crazy stuff going, calling these people Nazis and all this stuff. And I say it for the fucking millionth time, I'm not a Trump supporter. One of the first people who came out to speak out against him. I'm hoping for the best with him, because I know a lot of my countrymen do support him and are fans, and that's good. I hope that he comes through with the things that, everybody hopes that he might. But as a neutral party, I was a neutral party who has essentially voted Democrat his entire life. Okay? So I'm a centrist, but I have leaned, voted, and supported Democrats for my entire life. I'm 43 years old. So I have a good 25 plus years of observing the Democratic Party. And it's really fucked up what the Democratic Party is, because it's filled with people like me who are bleeding heart liberals. We are very caring, empathetic, kind people. But the structure, the business at the top, the people in control of the party are no good. And they are telling liberal people what they want to hear. And they are getting liberal people into a frenzy. And it is fucked up. It's why I have very much officially left and distanced myself and keep saying, liberal people, we need a new party. We need new people to support. This system is so corrupt. The Democrats who are there to, execute things on behalf of liberal people, they're not real people. They're not real Democrats. They don't really care. This system is a sham. But this democratic system has been freaking people out and getting people to use terms like Nazis, ists and phobes and all this other stuff. And then there are people going around saying, we should take the children away from these MAGAs or these gun supporters. Or there's always some new reason why they'll start talking about things like this, about violating other people's rights to stop their political behavior on one level or another, or to control or to chastise or whatever else. So Gina and myself, a couple weeks before her, came out and said, this is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. And before you go, what? Well, see, that's what your problem is. You're going to compare what's going on in America to Nazi Germany. Yes. Yes, we do. Because all of these liberal people who are being told, it's Nazis, we got to do something about the Nazis. You're wrong. Okay? This is hyperbolic language that's being used. However, people who are not wrong are the people who are pointing out that the demonization of a group, the dehumanization of a group of people, which is what happened to the Jews. They were dehumanized. And over time, that allowed the people of Germany to support policy that hurt Jewish people and others, because the way they were being spoke about in the media. The conversation about Republicans was getting very ugly. People were calling for their rights to be taken away, for children to be taken away. At the time that she made this statement, I made a similar statement because I saw similar things. Our statements weren't identical, but we essentially said the exact same thing. We said, it takes dehumanizing a group of people for laws to be passed to govern them that would be unjust dehumanizing. That's what happened in Nazi Germany. And Gina was saying, hey, Republicans talking about them like they're not human, talking about them like they're racist, like they're evil, all these things. This is the type of conversation that leads to the dehumanization of a group that can then be persecuted. Religious ideology and political ideology are not that fucking different. Man, summer is when everything happens. Projects, adventures, kids running around, late night hangs, beach days. It's all the stuff you've been waiting for all year. So the last thing you want to be doing is standing in a supermarket line or stuck in the kitchen for hours. That's why I love HelloFresh. It keeps summer about enjoying life, not meal prep. From home improvement to self-care to just having some fun in the sun, this is the season to go live it up. And with HelloFresh, voted the #1 meal kit by USA Today's readers, you can keep your summer both enjoyable and delicious. HelloFresh makes it easy to get quick, home-cooked meals into your schedule every day. They send delicious recipes right to your door. We're talking panko-crusted chimichurri barramundi, sun-dried tomato grilled cheese sandos, plus over 100 seasonal snacks, sides, and treats. And this summer, they've made it even easier with their brand new ready-made meals. These are chef-crafted, flavorful dishes that are ready in just 3 minutes, so you can heat, eat, and get back to summer. I've got my eye on the Southwest-inspired chicken bowl, the stir-fried udon with pulled pork and veggies, creamy Alfredo truffle cavatappi, and that Indian-inspired chicken with turmeric rice. All fresh, all delicious, and all ready fast. Every HelloFresh meal uses high-quality ingredients, seasonal produce, proteins, straight from the farm to your doorstep. With easy-to-follow recipe cards or simple heat and eat options. You can choose from 60 recipes every week, plus more than 100 market items to add to breakfast, lunch, and more. Everything is delivered right to your door, and you can pause or skip deliveries whenever you need. The last HelloFresh meal I made was a garlic butter shrimp pasta. Took less than 20 minutes, tasted like a restaurant dish, and my kids devoured it. That's the kind of win I need in the middle of a busy summer. I'm also looking forward to trying their creamy truffle pasta, because, who doesn't like truffles? That's living. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM and get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box. HelloFresh.com/CGA10FM. One per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. So, when I tell you that Gina Carano did nothing wrong, nothing. When I tell you that Pedro Pascal never came out in her defense, I got to imagine they were chummy as fuck, considering how fucking chummy he is with his castmates on other productions. I seem to remember Bill Burr being like the only person who came out during that time and spoke about how wonderful Gina was. I've never met Gina. I don't know much about her. I'm not that big a fan of Gina as an actor. I think she's okay. I liked her on The Mandalorian okay. I think she's okay. I think she's beautiful. I think she's a great fighter. I think she's cool. I think she's a sweet lady. So many different little clips and things that I've seen of her with interviews and things like that. It's a great clip that I'm thinking of her right now where she was talking to some of the other male fighters, and one of the male fighters told her that she didn't like female fighting, because he didn't like seeing the girls get beat up. And she just kind of went like, that's okay. You're just like, you're a little old-fashioned, and that's all right. And the guy, all blush, like, yeah, I guess I'm just a little old-fashioned. And it was really cute, her telling the story. of, just guy, very respectful, very nice, but he's just like, I have a hard time with, female fighting. And she wasn't offended. She didn't take that badly. She turned it into fucking lemonade. It's beautiful. Yeah, generally, I think that Gina Carano is a beautiful person. And it was really fucked up what they did to her. It's so fucked up and ridiculous because she is the droid they were looking for. A powerful woman, an empowered woman, a girl who can do all the things that the boys do. That's what she looks like, guys. And you ran the one real ass-kicking lady out of Disney, out of the movie business. It's so fucked up what was done to her. It's still fucked up to this day. Every single article that has written about this, every single article that wrote about her victory has absolutely miscommunicated the story of what happened. Conveniently talked about it in passing, where they'll say something like, Gina Carano compared the plight of German Jews to American Republicans. That was not what happened. She was talking about how when you demonize a group of people, what it can lead to. That is a worthy fucking point to make. She's going, hey guys, careful here. You know what comes of this? Holocausts. A good point. A worthy point. A point written by someone who gives a shit. I know, because I wrote a similar message, and it came from a place of giving a shit about people. I'm not a Republican, but I do not support the idea that we're going to go fucking take away their freaking kids. Ridiculous. It's just, people are so shitty to other people in this world, in this country. And when this happened, she was riding high as the star of The Mandalorian, next to Pedro Pascal. But she was essentially the face of that show next to Baby Yoda, because The Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, was under the helmet, which only barely ever gotten taken off. So Gina, with the help of Elon Musk, sued Disney, essentially for, I don't know if it's libel or slander or whatever. I forget exactly the grounds, but basically for making her look bad, and character assassination. Blah 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 blah. It is completely deserved, this lawsuit. I wish that Disney had to pay out and didn't settle, and it was a bigger victory for Gina. Or, this already is a victory for Gina, so I shouldn't say that, because I'm sure Gina has said she's very happy. So, great. I'm really happy for you, Gina. Great. And I know other people have expressed similar sentiments, but, if you're happy, Gina, I'm fucking happy. Seriously, you're awesome. You've been awesome. And this whole situation is fucked. I'm so happy that something positive has come. You got Disney announcing that, they look forward to working with you in the future. That's great. I'd like to see that happen. You were the droid they were looking for. You were the exact right choice to be this strong, powerful female for them. And there are so few right choices in Hollywood, and you are one. And your politics were not extreme liberal enough. And that is not a crime. It's fucking ridiculous what happened. And I'm glad that you're happy. I wish that they had to publicly apologize. I wish that the biggest thing is I wish that there was disclosure and we were able to see internal emails and memorandums and all the stuff that went on leading up to them getting rid of Gina. Because I believe that they would have exposed themselves. They would have exposed themselves for who they are, what they are, how fucking political they are, how fucking dark and vicious they are, and all the other little backbiting bullshit politics that might have led to them trying to go after Gina, essentially for no reason. Because she's not even a Trump supporter or anything. Like, it's like there's really nothing to say about her. Like, go try to pull up some terrible Gina Carano quote. The one quote that they're talking about is misquoted constantly, misinterpreted, misexplained in every news article where they make her seem like MAGA or, you know, some sort of extreme Trump or extreme Republican, and she is not remotely that. So yeah, you know, for the rest of the episode, just you know, just every now and then, just say, "Yeah, Gina, fuck yeah, congratulations, Gina, fuck yeah, fucking get Disney." You know, and I say get Disney as somebody who loves Disney. I was excited when fucking they bought the Muppets and they bought Marvel and I was excited about these things, even though I knew that, you know, there was a chance that they might fuck it up. But I also knew that there was a chance that they might hire somebody or get the right people creatively controlling some of these properties, and they would get good things, and that it could turn around. It could still turn around. Everything could still turn around. But it hasn't, because of the ideological bend of the company for a while now. You got Kathy Kennedy at Star Wars, Kevin Feige at Marvel. They're all pulling the same bullshit. In the fucking Disney animation department, the lady who directed Frozen, which isn't even the fucking best fucking animated film from that time period. Tangled was better. Tangled is the reason why Frozen was so fucking successful. And that, and the two songs, Do You Want to Build a Snowman, and the other one. But Tangled is a fucking great movie. Those people should have taken over fucking creative control. Did a freaking superficial hit with Frozen because it was like pretty, but it wasn't exactly entertaining the same way fucking Tangled was. Ay, ay, ay. Disney has fallen apart. I mean, they've just fallen off a cliff. We got the BlackRock financial influence of forcing behaviors, and they are, oh my God, they are up to their elbows trying to force behaviors upon their viewership. And Disney needs to come around. You know, they're a company that basically will never admit when they're wrong. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. You know, not that that's like the hugest problem if you're generally trying to be right, but Disney is wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong again, and they keep trying to pretend, perpetually pretend, like they never have done anything wrong. Oh, you've been doing wrong, guys. You've destroyed Star Wars completely. Like, the brand is dead. You're going to have to, I don't know what, to bring Star Wars back to life. I don't think it'll ever be what it was. I think you have broken the hearts of the people who really cared. There's some similar things going on with Marvel, but there's so many stories and there's so many characters and there's so much possibility. Still, there's so many things that are widely regarded and widely known and remembered that people are waiting to see adapted. So it's like you could get back to that at any time. The Muppets, oh, they've been killing freaking people like me for ages. I mean, like, you know, every now and then they'll do something pretty good, but like the amount of times that they've shown up and fucking swung and missed, they just haven't been able to recover. You know, like the Muppets Mayhem with the Electric Mayhem. The show's pretty good. I like it. Big Muppet fan. I've been wanting to write them for forever. I have written them a ton. I wrote the comics, or some of the comics, one of the miniseries anyway. But I did a lot of pitching, and I've written like a lot of scripts and stuff that didn't end up getting turned into things because I almost was a writer for some of this stuff after the fact, when it came to what? Oh, the licensing for the comics. Initially, it was at Boom Studios, which is where I did Muppet Snow White, and then it moved to Joe Books and some other places. I was working with Disney in the licensing division, so like wherever it was going to end up, if they did the Muppets, I was going to write it. But basically, the company that got the licenses afterwards, they never got the Muppets license, so I wasn't able to do that. So anyway, I mean, they've killed Pixar. How do you fucking, I mean, I know how you kill Pixar. You don't fucking keep up the quality. I'm a huge Pixar guy. I'm a huge animation guy. The Disney animation. Now they got their fucking Disney live action shit running, and it's just diminishing returns. I mean, Disney is not. All of these companies made a major shift a while ago. The shift was with the writers. The writers that became in demand were ideologues, activists, people who their main sort of goal when it comes to their writing is really just changing the world for their version of better. But unfortunately, their version of better is a carefully calculated political strategy that's been thought up in a think tank to keep the country divided, to keep us from making any progress. And these people who went to college and learned all this fucking, classes on race and femininity and LGBTQ, there are classes that are being taught, and I mean it's not just these classes. It's just in general the way information is being given. They want the elite college class to be this liberal person, but a very specific type of liberal person who cares about a lot of social things, and is more focused on that than anything else. Because these people are trying to force culture changes upon, say, the Republicans and Amish and, all the different Muslims. There's tons of groups of people that are not included in this super hyper liberal change the social culture. And remember, you're talking to a non-binary Ashkenazi Jew right now, okay? So, I'm not against any of these ideas. I'm against the implementation of this as a political strategy where we're being bullies and self-righteous and trying to force other people to think like us before they're ready to think like us. I don't want people thinking like me unless they want to. There's a lot of things wrong about everything that's going on right now. And we're going to talk about Beau DeMayo, who was the showrunner for the X-Men 97 show, which just came out this past year, I think, and was really great. And Beau, oh man, he shows you some things about what's going on in the writer's room and whatnot over at Marvel. But these things have always been on the table, essentially. But the problem has gotten worse, okay? So it used to be that the writers were reading books like Save the Cat, right? They weren't reading philosophy books, weren't reading about Malcolm X and fucking whatever else and Harvey Milk and shit. They were reading about how to write. They were reading 4 or 5 screenplays from William Goldman. They were reading Wired for Story. They were reading Stephen King's On Writing. There are so many. I've lost track of all these fucking books that I've read over my life as a professional writer, as an award-winning writer, as somebody who writes across many, 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 not just genres, but across mediums. Comic books, I've written screenplays, I've written articles and essays and poetry, and I've won awards for articles and essays and poetry and music. Writing is all I've ever studied. When the writers were in the room, it was difficult to get the good ideas across the plate because the editors and the producers are not just gatekeepers, but often they have their own ideas already, and they are looking for you to take their often bad ideas and turn them into something good. So having shitty writers dictating the type of writing that the actual studied writers should do, it led to a major inconsistency. Coming up, I always wondered why, like, really good writers like Will Pfeiffer, who's a great comic book writer, Mark Andreyko, he's gay, he's a great comic book writer. I mentioned that he's gay just because he's been openly gay for a very long time. And when the changeover happened and all of a sudden we were in a more inclusive landscape, I did not notice that Mark Andreyko was being promoted more as a writer, and I did not see him on high-profile projects at Marvel or DC, and I should have. I don't know if he'd ever written for Marvel, but he had been writing for DC, and like he was ready for prime time. He deserved more opportunities. Mark's a writer, along with Will Pfeiffer, who I brought into Dynamite when I was writing Evil Ernie. I was trying to do like a whole Chaos line. Half of why I left was because they weren't like basically enthusiastic enough on that, and well, really the main reason why I left was because they wouldn't let me credit Brian Pulido and. I'm forgetting the name of the artist on Evil Ernie, the creator of Honor. I want to say Angel Medina. It's not Angel Medina. Guy who passed away. Created by Brian Pulido, and it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, fuck. The guy who passed away, he's an artist. He's the one who invented a lot of the Chaos characters with Brian, and they wouldn't let me credit him. But another part of it was that I was trying to do this larger, expansive Chaos universe thing, and they weren't necessarily going for that. And I just was ready to do more. I was ready to do something bigger. And the two people that I brought in was Mark Andreyko and Will Pfeiffer. And if this DEI initiative was real, Mark Andreyko would have more work. But guess what? It's not. What changed was not the type of writers, but the type of writer in general. There are no writers anymore. There are no people who are studying writing being hired. There are people who are studying philosophy, who are studying politics, who are good politickers, who are willing to be very verbal about those things, especially because they're talking to the ad department, the promotions department, and they're telling them, oh yeah, tell them all about how gay you are. Talk about all this stuff. Da, 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 da. That's what sells. It's not what sells. It's proven now over and over and over again that this does not sell. This is not a winning strategy. It's fucking up all of the entertainment medium. All of the writing is worse for it. But this is the situation that we are in as we're dealing with these ideologues, these non-writers. Now, as a perfect little segue here, I'm going to read a bunch of quotes from Beau DeMayo. Now, remember, Beau was the showrunner for X-Men 97, the animated continuation of the X-Men series from the 90s, which is really good if you haven't seen it. So, Beau had been doing a ton of Twitter, things, whatever. And here are a bunch of his quotes. Quote, I've sat in the creative meetings at Marvel Studios. They're horrible. Quote, you basically sit in a room with Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito and try to pitch your movie. End quote. Quote, you're even told not to pitch ideas from the comics because Lou isn't a big comic guy. First of all, let me just put a little pause in this. Lou should be fired. Kevin should be fired. They should go back to the Marvel Brain Trust that was there, consulting with the editors and writers and major people from the comic book company. It's very frustrating, this whole situation. Lou isn't a big fan of the movies. I'm a big fan of the comics, so don't pitch him any comics. Literally, your company, the purpose of your company is to bring to life the characters and stories previously beloved and previously created and beloved by your company, your publishing company that makes comics. But Lou doesn't really care for the comics. Quote, all we need to do is make sure it's fun, describing Feig D'Esposito's feedback in those meetings. Yeah, no. All we need to do is make sure it's fun. You mean like Thor Love and Thunder? Nah. I mean, and like seriously, like this explains like every Spider-Man movie that just doesn't have enough meaningfully going on in it for me to give a shit, even though it's fun. So the important thing is to make it fun. Quote, it's a broken machine. Great ideas only for Marvel's arrogance to destroy them. Victoria Alonso showed up with sugar cookies she'd bake to help improve morale from a Blade meeting. Marvel is a slaughterhouse factory where you watch fresh meat get spoiled. They make it clear that every good thought came from Kevin. He is the celebrity, relaying a Marvel employee's line. So there was this big pivot to like Kevin Feige. It's all Kevin Feige. And like one of the first big Kevin Feige decisions was that Captain Marvel movie, that disaster, abandoning Captain Marvel's origin, abandoning Marvel, not using the Kree Supreme Intelligence, which would have been an amazing visual to show up in that movie, placing it as a period piece in the 80s. So many bits. There are some good decisions that I've heard Kevin Feige has made over the years. The bulk of choices that I've heard about things that had to be argued with Kev are terrible. Like, he has been being saved from himself for so long until it was too late, until there was nobody to do that. Beyond some of the quotes that I just shared there, it was basically said that Kevin Feige has the ideas and you want to be the person who extrapolates upon Kevin Feige's idea. You make that one have more details. You make Kevin's idea work and you're in like Flynn, man. For me, comics are the most, that's where I've grinded out, as a professional writer, going to conventions and whatever else. And I know that, I wanted to be the Johnny on the spot, the beer drinking buddy of the editors in the comics, because I knew that ultimately most of the miniseries and the things that happen, they actually come from editorial. Most of the ideas, and they're fucking bad. It's like you have to really earn your way at these companies in order to actually have anybody consider an idea that you have as possibly being good. And like, I know this as a musician. Like, I'm great. I'm really, really good at making music. And like, if you don't believe me, just go type in Jesse Blaze, pull up anything that comes up. I've got like 10 albums that have come out. I'm very good at what I do. But for people who don't have good taste and can't tell and aren't sure, they just kind of like will listen to my music and go, huh? And like they look around and they're like, has anyone else validated this? Has anyone else said this is good? Well, this is the thing about, the world. The world is run by fucking egos, and often egos that don't really know enough to be in the positions that they're in. Most, whether it's music people or story people, most people work in the creative world. They don't have good taste. Most of them, very few do. Very few that even have good taste trust their taste, because having taste and backing something because you believe in it, well, that could very well easily lead to you getting fired because, oh, this was all Jeff's idea. Oh, yeah, I really believed in that. I don't know why it didn't work. Oh, well, Jeff, you're fired. What actually happens is people follow trends. And then when something fails, they go, oh, well, how could you expect me to know any better? Look at this and look at this and look at this. It was all so obvious. The numbers were there. The money was there. I just thought it was going to be good. But story is everything. Writing is everything. It's everything. Things can be good despite the fact that they don't have a good script. But the the lyrics, like that is what creates the thing. That is what makes something really matter. You can have a bunch of actors, and we might like the actors a lot. It can be shot well, it can be colored well, but if the story and the plot, what's going on, doesn't matter to the audience, you got nothing. Nothing at all. And honestly, like, when these editors and producers come out with, they got their story ideas, they're bad. You have to turn them into something that will work. They have an inkling, a little idea. Usually it's not fully formed. Usually it's just sort of like a fleeting something. And I've been in that position where some editor gives me some fleeting idea, and then I have to go and turn it into something. Even less than that, like, when it's even more open, just the basic ideas handed to me, and then I go and I make it. Dead Romeo, which was the basic premise that they gave me, was it wasn't called Dead Romeo. I came up with that and invented that character and everything. But they just wanted a vampire romance where a vampire escaped from hell. He escaped from hell, and it was romantic. That was what they wanted. So I had to deliver that. A more concise pitch was for a book called Guns and Angels, which I did with a company called Merck Publishing, which I think they're still doing it. There's a bunch of scripts that haven't come out yet. There's a bunch of scripts that have been drawn but haven't come out yet. So I... the title was given to me, and the basic premise was given to me of that basically they wanted like a Romeo and Juliet with assassins, and they wanted like multiple Romeo and Juliets, like, a romance and tragic romance mixed with blood and bullets. So, but I had to form that into a real story and figure out the criminal underworld and what would make this unique and different things like that. Which in the case of Guns and Angels, it's like so much of where they're operating, there are these deep underground train stations, secret, that go across the country that these criminals use to get around. Things like that actually make this thing a living and breathing world, and coming up with just two assassins from warring guilds who are married, and and they've got a kid together, and essentially the kid gets kidnapped in the beginning, and there's a whole bunch of different things. But this was all to turn the thing that they wanted me to do into a real viable book. Just come out. You can't just say a name and throw out a bunch of people do it all the time. But eventually, anything that's going to stand the test of time or whatever, somebody's going to show up and really do some writing, really do some good work. When you have your gatekeepers trying to be the writers, what a recipe for disaster that is. It's just Kevin Feige, if you're listening, you're not a writer, buddy. Sorry. I know you think you are. I know that you think that in all creative meetings, and I say things, and some of those things that I said, they end up on screen, and I'm creative. You're not. You don't know what you're fucking doing. You need to go read Save the Cat, 5 screenplays from William Goldman, Stephen King's On Writing. Wired for Story in particular would be a really good one for you. I recommend Wired for Story to every fledgling writer out there. Wired for Story is just so good because it really puts you in the mind of your audience. And it lets you see what the audience genuinely is looking for whenever it goes to enjoy any amount of entertainment. And there's basically just one thing. The audience is looking for a protagonist. Doesn't matter if they're black, white, beige, purple, robot, vegetable. A protagonist who wants something. And the audience is looking to see them work and struggle to get the thing they want. If you present an audience with a character who wants something and they're working hard to get it, your audience will engage with that. The details of the dialogue and so many other little things are not as important as this simple thing. Somebody wants something and they're working hard to get it. Hopefully, they're struggling. The more they struggle, the more your audience will demand that you give them the happy ever after that they've been working for. That's how it goes. Talked about this before. I had a friend, she wrote a screenplay about like a bunch of girls, and they had a rock band, and like it's a real like rah girls, kick some ass girls. And most of you people, if you read this screenplay, you would fucking hate it. It would make you hate women. It would make you hate girl power, because she made the mistake of writing this screenplay and perpetually handing everything to her protagonists. Yes, there are characters, they want something, but they're getting it too easy. I got on the phone with her after I finished the screenplay, and I said, hey, listen, I get what you're going for here. And I think that what you're going for is valid and is something that people would enjoy, would like to see, something that deserves to be in the world. But you're making it too easy for these characters because you love them so much. And by making it easy for them, you're making your audience hate them. Your audience doesn't want these people to have a happy ever after. They're not having to work hard enough, struggle hard enough, lose enough things to get the thing that they want. I said, however, if you go back into the screenplay and you work really hard to make these girls work for every happy accident, every positive thing that goes on in this screenplay, your audience will demand that you give them a happy ending at the end of your screenplay. They'll demand it. They'll be like, these girls deserve this. That's how it works. That's how writing works. Books on writing are about getting your stupid ego out of the equation. Listen to some other people who have struggled to figure out the roots of what we're doing here when we're writing. Humble yourself to learn from masters. That is what I did. I am a master. I have learned from masters. I wasn't a master. I learned from them. I was good. I was talented. I was always naturally talented. Most of the awards that I won for writing, I won in fucking high school. In college. I came out of the gate swinging. I was good at this. However, being good at something and actually fundamentally understanding what you're doing so that you can show up as a professional and do it right every time, so that when somebody turns to you and goes, hey, Jess, I need some help with this, you understand fundamentally what you're doing as a writer, and you can offer real sound advice because you really know what you're doing. You are a professional. I am a professional writer. And it's funny because I don't really think about much details of writing anymore, because, you learn all the things and then you forget it, and then it's just like what you're doing naturally. But mostly I've forgotten all of the things because there's no need to remember them. The only thing that's important is that there's a protagonist who wants something and he's working hard to get it and struggling. That's it. Read Wired for story. That is the only thing that matters. All of this fucking Quentin Tarantino and his dialogue and all this shit, dude, it's neither here nor there. That's a bunch of superficial window dressing that some people are noticing and some people are talking about. But the real truth of the matter is just about wanting something, working hard to get it. So what's the point of remembering anything else? Other than that when I sit down and write, I want to entertain myself at least. So I entertain myself and see if I can figure out how to do that. And if I figure out how to entertain myself, maybe I've figured out how to entertain you, especially if I know that there's a protagonist who has something they want, who are working very hard to get it within the confines of my story. And there always is, because I know that's the only thing that fucking matters to the audience. Do you hear how I'm talking about writing? Do you hear anything about Jesse and Jesse's personality and, like, you know, that the only thing that matters to the audience is, like, me and what I have to say and what in my specific heart? A lot of the people in the world, we share a heart. We have a heart that says when we see somebody working hard for something, we want them to get it. That's the heart of your audience. Your heart, your LGBTQ journey, your journey as a woman, your journey as a minority. Like, fuck that shit, man. You could write a great story that is about a journey of minority, but you need to tell us what he wants. What does the minority want? Does he want to be accepted for being a minority or whatever? I mean, that can be your premise too. Why is it such a struggle for him? Her, it, whatever. You need to give us those things. You can write things about things like that, but the fundamentals of story, protagonist who wants something, working hard to get it, and struggling, that's it. The Kevin Feiges and producers and whatnot of the world, they are superficial people. Most people who go into Hollywood in the first place are at least slightly superficial. You could have went into the world of novels. Could have went to the world of comics. Comics are too kiddie. Novels are too highfalutin. So we chose film. And what's in film? Film is physical, models, dancers, actors. It's a rather superficial industry, is it not? It's a visual world, but it's of the flesh. So there's a lot of superficial thinking that goes on in the world of entertainment. So, you know, they're so, you know, listen, if you got a great screenplay, but you don't cast the right people who are easy to promote, you know, you might have a hard time with that. However, you could cast the right people, but two people that you like in a movie that has no script, that isn't good. The fundamentals are always writing. However, in a superficial world, the fundamentals become other things. Oh, this person just came off of this movie, which was really big at Cannes. You know, this actress was just in this. This was just in this. This was just this. It's all, remember what I told you about people getting fired because they trust their taste and they're like, oh yeah, that was Jeff's idea. Well, Steve doesn't get fired because Steve's like, oh yeah, man, like that guy was just in that. That's why I hired him. He was awful. It wasn't good. You're fired, Steve. No, wait, I'm not fired, man. I hired him because he was in the other thing. People like that other thing. And they go, oh yeah, well, people did like that other thing. Okay, I guess you're not fired, Steve. Okay, whew. You know, and Steve lives to fight another day. But Jeff, he's gone. He's out of there. He trusted his taste. He got behind something he thought was great. And now look what happened to him. Gown. So this environment where we're making these Marvel movies from, holy shit, what a fucking, woof, what a nightmare. I mean, you know, the big boss, Kevin Feige, is the Hollywood guy, and he's got ideas, and people are coming in with their pitches that maybe would honor the source material, and they're being told, oh, no, the Lou, the other guy, the other Kevin, he doesn't like the source material. Oh, so they're like, okay, so I'll just make up something off the top of my head. Meanwhile, if something hasn't been made in the source material, like, there's a bit of a reason for it. Like, there's, I don't know, 1,000 writers who have been working at Marvel for the past fucking 70 years trying to come up with good ideas for stories for various characters. And I mean, there's been so much redundancy because similar stories work really well. And there's, you know, and then there's, you know, just similar redundancy because you're kind of working around similar type stories. So ground is covered, and like, you know, like a lot of ground, and I mean, there's so many stories that could be adapted, and so many things that are already interconnected in interesting ways, which is all the stuff that they want with the Marvel Universe, and yet they can't figure out how to get themselves there, to that, you know, place. They're like, no, we're gonna make a whole new thing. I have an idea. I think this idea would be fun. What do you think about this idea? Says Kevin Feige. So, fuck you, Kevin Feige. Seriously, fuck you, man. Like, oh, God, you're ruining. I could just be enjoying this. And instead, I have to get on the fucking microphone every Wednesday and, like, well, at least every other Wednesday and talk shit about how you're destroying the thing that I love. And I could do your job in a fucking heartbeat so much better than you are doing it. And I think I'm at least 15 years younger than you or something like that. Like, this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. There are so many people who I could choose to replace you with. Like, if I was Bob Iger, and again, I should be, I could replace you in a hot fucking minute with at least a dozen different people that I know. Most of them are fucking entertainment commentators online, but that would be a good place to start. There are also some wonderful creative people and writers and people in the business and in the industry who I can fucking replace you with. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you still have a job. It's ridiculous that we're still having this conversation. Kudos to Bo DeMille for speaking out about this, giving me some specific quotes, giving me the opportunity to talk about some of these things. Because, you know, often when it's me talking about it and like me saying, you know, what a creative summit would be like, bless me, sorry, or you know, or just dealing with editorial at Marvel or DC. You know, I could talk about it, but it's like a guy who has a show talking about things. So it's like, he's making this up for ratings or whatever. You know, like, it's like I have a reason to talk. I'm trying to talk about things like this. So in theory, anything that I say is like sort of like me padding the conversation with like arguments that'll help me make my argument. Thank you. You just delivered to me exactly the quotes that I needed to be able to back you up on this, back you up on all of this. This is not the exception to the rule. This is the rule. This is how it goes. So I am going to wrap this show up with talking just a little bit. I know I said I wasn't going to talk anymore about Fantastic Four, Jurassic Park, and Superman. But, yeah. Okay. So, I just find this so weird. The Fantastic Four's fucking journey is bizarre. So, Fantastic Four has already made handily... It's made more than the Captain America Brave New World, made more than Thunderbolts, because of its initial success. However, the third Friday to Monday for Fantastic Four this past weekend. Is it this past weekend? Yeah, this past weekend. This past weekend, Friday, Fantastic Four made $4.5 million. Its third Saturday made $6.4 million. Third Sunday made $4.8 million. And its third Monday made $1.7. Well, I got some bizarre news for you. The third Friday for Thunderbolts made 4.2. Third Friday for Thunderbolts, 4.2. Third Friday for Fantastic Four, 4.5. Okay, so Fantastic Four is a little better for the Friday. Third Saturday for Thunderbolts is 7.3. Third Saturday for Fantastic Four is 6.4. Almost a whole million less. Third Sunday for Thunderbolts is 4.9. Third Sunday for Fantastic Four is 4.8. Third Monday for Thunderbolts is 1.8. Third Monday for Fantastic Four is 1.7. In only its third weekend, even though it's handily beating it, I think by like a good like 50 million from the front end of this thing. Fantastic Four has dropped so precipitously that it is now in its third week. By the end of its third week, Thunderbolts has a better third week than it has. I've never seen this before. It's really why I'm sharing it. I don't even understand. In its third week, Thunderbolts is beating it. But Thunderbolts is not fucking Fantastic Four. 437 worldwide so far, 232 domestic. So 232 versus Thunderbolts 190. 190 versus 232. And Thunderbolts is done, and Fantastic Four is going to continue a certain amount. If it's 232 right now, it's going to be at least probably 250 or something. And worldwide, Thunderbolts is 382 compared to Fantastic Four already has 437. So there's a huge difference. And yet somehow in the third week, Fantastic Four has just dropped below its numbers. And what does that mean? I think it means that there's still some strength in the Marvel brand, and there's people who cared enough to like go out and see this in its opening week, and like, you know, because it's an older brand, like Thunderbolts isn't. Fantastic Four has been around for a long fucking time, and people showed up in bulk in the beginning. I also happen to think that Disney lied about some of its initial numbers. I think specifically on Thursday, I think it added to its Thursday night screenings, and I think they lied about how good they did that first Thursday night. That first Thursday night was the thing that allowed them to say that they were better than Superman, and very quickly we found out that they weren't doing better than Superman. So it fell off really, really quick. Really, really quick. And to me, too, that suggests that maybe there were more financial shenanigans going on. There was more of them buying tickets or other little things, of them trying to prop up the promotion of Fantastic Four, which Fantastic Four, I think, was mostly pretty good. However, I think the advertisements leading up to Fantastic Four were not good. I think there was a lot of shit in those trailers that just were not great advertising for the movie and didn't do anything to get people excited to head into theaters to see Fantastic Four. And really, there's just like so many long-term decisions, like female Silver Surfer, the mustache on Mr. Fantastic, the casting of Pedro Pascal, the normal voice of the Thing, an obvious lack of super joy machismo jokes from Johnny Storm. There were a lot of things that were being communicated to me through the trailer that made me go, I'm not as excited about this as I'd like to be. So, you know, those things catch up to you, come a-calling, and they really do. All right, well, I guess this covers all the things that I wanted to talk about today. I just hit an hour. And I've got my music podcast that still hasn't come back yet. All Your Favorite Bands Suck, but there's 55 bands. That podcast is available everywhere except for Spotify. Tons of different genres. If you're looking for some bands to get into, 55 of my favorite bands of all time, and I'm playing clips and naming all the great albums and telling you what to check out. If you like music, check that out. Also, every Monday I do my show, Everything They Don't Want You to Know. This past Monday, I forget what my show was on. Oh, it was on the multiverse. That's a good one. Okay, and I've got two things up on Kickstarter that are ready to, they're not like launched yet. You can't buy it just yet, but you can sign up for notifications for Jesse Blaze Snyder Solfeggio Transmissions. Right now it says it's a music box set of all my albums. It's not. It's just going to be, there's going to be a music sampler and some other things, so you can get some of my music for free as like a bonus thing or whatever. But the Solfeggio Transmission album, which is a healing frequency record that I just released, I don't know, in the past 6 months. It's awesome. We're going to do a limited release. It's going to be really great. Sign up for notifications now on Kickstarter. And you can also sign up for notifications for Sugar and Bones magazine, which is an anthology comics magazine like heavy metal, but also a magazine recommending great creative people, and also having great creative people teach and explain their process and how they do things and how they became great. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope you'll check out Saturday's Coolest Pick or Coolest Classic, whatever it may be. And I hope you will join me again next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of The Coolest Geek Alive. Love you. Peace out. You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I'll play that! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Coolest alive! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Stay with your tribe! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Revenge of the Geeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Week after weeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Laughing with you! It's gonna be fucking awesome! And crying sometimes too! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Spelling it out! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Making you shout! It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living the shit. My voice gonna be fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right on text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. Awesome. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground. Hooray!